Jai Hind everyone. Today we are starting with class 11th Political Science chapter 2 Freedom. Freedom means the every person has a right to use his give right to enjoy his freedom, and every person is able to do whatever he wants to do. And we means freedom as the absence of constraints. In this chapter, we will understand the theory of Swaraj for Indians, the freedom fighters for many countries who fought for the freedom of their own country or the land in which they were living. Also, in this chapter, we will understand the freedom is under the rules and regulation, not without the rules and regulation. Because without the rules and regulation, it is absolute freedom, in which people are not actually having the equal rights to enjoy their freedoms. So, when we talk about who are the ideals of freedom, first the name which comes in everyone's mind is Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela, in his autobiography A Long Walk to Freedom, tells all the incidents of his life: when he was born, what was his twin obligations, and how his freedom and the freedom of others became his own freedom. His community's freedom became the freedom of his own when he attained the maturity. And the long walk to freedom, he have to spend so much years, 28 years in jail. And in this book, he deeply engraves about the apartheid system or the xenophobic ideology of the white people, or the segregationist policies like the black codes or the Jim Crow laws. These all laws are being mentioned, which were the segregated laws. Also, he elaborates about what were the humiliation and the hardships faced by the black, and what were the atrocities which were being done on the African Americans. And the constraints were that his colleagues and Nelson Mandela wanted the freedom from the apartheid, and wanted that the society should be based on the just constraints, not on unjust constraints. Just means it should be a good constraint. Okay, so now when we talk about Nelson Mandela, for Mandela, he spent 20 years in jail, and for his the freedom means the sacrifices to bring back the sacrifices of the blacks who have lost their lives in gaining the freedoms. And reason for all this is only because he campaigned for the freedom of his people. Okay, now if we see the other case of Aung San Suu Kyi, she was from very elite class family of Myanmar. She remained under house arrest because she rose her voice against the dominating rule of Myanmar. And she was separated from her children, and she was not allowed to visit her husband when he was dying from cancer. Aung San Suu Kyi clearly stated in a book, Freedom from Fear, that freedom means unless you live away from fear and live a dignified life full of respect. And her freedom was connected deeply to the freedom of her people. Means a dignified human life must become when we overcome the fear which we are having. If we are having the fear, we are not able to always enjoy our rights. Okay, now what is freedom? Freedom, in some ways we can say that freedom is absence of constraints. Individual could be considered free if he is not under any subjugation or external control. And freedom or free society which enables all its members to nurture their talents and enjoy their potentials without the maximum social constraint, but with the minimum social constraints. And freedom comes with constraints. Yes, it is important that freedoms can only be attained when others freedom are also given. And we are the individuals, we are the members of the society, so all should work under some rules and regulation which our constitution has enshrined. Also, one should enjoy his rights in such a way that he not breaches the right of other person. I hope this first concept and the introduction to freedom you have understood very well. Now we will start with Swaraj in the next video. Till then, thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.